Hey everybody, Dr. LeGrand here. I'm so excited about this live stream. I'm here at Nature's Health Clinic, well actually in my studio, but I'm going to be talking about anxiety, how to be able to treat anxiety without using medications. This is a question that's brought up all the time with me, as well as a lot of patients that do come and see me that are trying to look for alternative routes of using actually other different alternative treatments other than using medications. If you're on this live stream, go ahead and leave in the comment section below where you're coming from. And if you have any questions during this live stream, I'll try to answer the questions towards the end of this live stream. But let's go ahead and get started about how do we treat anxiety without the use of medications. So first thing that I want to kind of go over is actually using the use of different types of herbs. Now, herbs can be very powerful. They might not be as quick as we see with medications, but they still can be very effective. We just have to be a little more patient with that. So I'm going to go over, my top recommendations as far as anxiety. Now, when we're talking about different herbs, what we have to keep in mind is using something like an anxiolytic. Now, what that means is something that could be a little bit more sedative or calming. Now, also keep in mind, if you're taking medications, you shouldn't be taking these together, or at least you need to talk to a physician first before deciding to take any types of herbs that have anxiolytics or any kind of sedative properties, because lots of different anxiety medications do have those properties, and taking a combo of those both can be harming. So you have to be very careful. So first thing, to look at as far as different types of herbs, chamomile tea is a really calming type of herb that you can take on a daily basis, very effective to help kind of calm the nerves down. Other things that you can take is also kava kava. Kava kava is a very powerful type of anxiolytic that also helps with anxiety and stress to be able to also calm down and also prevent for things such as panic attacks that are very common with anxiety. Another great type of herb is passion flower. Now, passion flower, a lot of people thought this to believe during the time as something that can enhance love. But really what it is, it actually really helps with insomnia, anxiety, and stress. It's more of a sedative type of herb that can help calm you down when you're starting to feel really stressed or have that anxiety attack going on. Other great herbs also is lemon balm and valerian root, also very great, powerful type of anxiolytics, can also calm down the nervous system, especially if you're in that very fight or flight mode. To be able to take those types of herbs, I take usually what kind of form. You can take it in different types of form. I tend to like more liquid-based types of herbs that are more in a tincture form to be able to take, such as something like valerian root. Now, another great types of herbs is also Californian poppy and lavender. Both are also known as properties and shown in research to be able to also really help with anxiety and even prevent from those anxiety attacks. Now, when you use lavender, I usually recommend more in a form of essential oils for more aromatherapy, to be able to use that on a daily basis, especially if you can kind of find when you're having those panic attacks or tend to be more stressed, to try to use lavender oil to kind of calm yourself down. Now, other things that are great to use to help with anxiety and also prevent anxiety panic attacks is exercise. There's lots of research that shows that exercise can help with anxiety and stress. But more importantly, even if you do 20 plus minutes of exercise during when you're really anxious and are just not knowing what to do to calm yourself down, going in for a run or doing some kind of shape or form of exercise that gets your heart rate up a little bit to be able to kind of help you calm the nervous system down can be really helpful. Now, other things that I do highly recommend is to implement is breathing exercise. And you can also do this with your exercise, maybe taking a calmer type of jog, but also incorporating different breathing techniques or sitting still and be able to breathe within the nose, out through the mouth, and focus on your diaphragm and sitting still, be able to do these breathing exercises to really help calm the nervous system. This is something I did a lot because I dealt with a lot of different anxiety and stress, especially when I was in school, especially when I had to take tests or even a pop quiz. I would get really, start hyperventilating and start really having high blood pressure as well as my heart rate going up while I had to take a test. And using breathing exercises really helped me calm down before I start taking the test, and I found that to be really effective. The other things that you can also do is also eat something more nutritious. Usually when we're anxious, we tend to not eat, and this can just be a problem if you continue to not eat something. So just force yourself to eat something nutritious, something with healthy fats and vegetables. can really go a long way when you're dealing with that panic attack or just dealing with high anxiety during a situation that you might be in, to try to eat something that could be nutritious. Other things that can also be really great is sometimes people that I find with my patients can tend to have really insufficient electrolytes, tend to be more electrolyte insufficient, where they're not getting enough electrolytes. And this can be a problem with people who have anxiety. Why it could be a problem is because we deal, our whole body and whole nervous system, our muscles rely off of electrolytes. And if we don't have enough electrolytes in our system and we're dealing with a panic situation or anxiety or stress, that just makes the situation even worse. So if you tend to be electrolyte insufficient, start incorporating more electrolytes, start doing bone broth, start doing things, adding more, mineral salts into your diet, as well as different magnesium, potassium, stuff like that, that can incorporate to be able to help with that. It also can help with energy. Usually people who deal with high anxiety will hit highs and lows of fatigue. So something you might want to consider. And I use a lot of times with my patients that can help solve that problem, sometimes as simple as that. The other tip that I usually do recommend is omega-3s. Omega-3s, our brain relies off a lot of different fats. So trying to get different fish oils, other healthy fats that have omega-3s can be very beneficial when it comes to anxiety. Other things that I do also recommend is when you're dealing with a situation where you have that high panic attack or anxiety, very stressed, we tend to ruminate on things that haven't happened yet. And this is what we call the fight or flight mode, or our sympathetic nervous system. And us humans do this a lot. We start to ruminate things that haven't even happened yet or already did happen, and we think it's going to happen again. And this just causes the situation to become worse. And this is what gets us to be more anxious and stressed and anxiety if we keep on ruminating things. We do this all the time when we're driving our car, or if we're just sitting still or watching something. We tend to really start ruminating those things. We need to stop that, because if we stop that and try to switch it to something more positive, whether it takes to watching something or talking to somebody, to be able to switch our thinking about ruminating something that hasn't even happened yet, to be able to think of something more positive, can be very beneficial. It takes a lot of practice to be able to do this, but this is something you should always be writing. Another thing I do recommend my patients to do is, when these situations are happening, to write it down. Start just writing for 5-10 minutes, everything that's on your mind, to kind of let it go. Especially if you're ruminating a lot, this can be a very therapeutic thing to do with people who have anxiety. Okay. Next thing that I also recommend is, doing saunas. Saunas have been proven to be able to be very helpful to be able to calm you down, because increasing heart rate, lymphatic drainage can be very therapeutic for people who tend to have high anxiety. Another interesting little trick that I do recommend some of my patients to do if they tend to be more stressed out is walking barefoot outside on grass. What this does, it's a way of what I call nature cure, is to be able to ground yourself when you're dealing with a high anxiety situation. To be able to ground yourself, let nature kind of ground yourself, can be very therapeutic. It's what we call more reflexology. So if you've ever gotten foot massages or reflexology treatment done to help with anxiety, this is a great technique of walking on grass, maybe walking on some rocks, to kind of put those pressure points that can be very therapeutic. Okay, some other few things, last things. Again, if you're on here, if you have any questions, you can go and leave that in the comment section below. But a few other things here is also learn to be doing mindfulness meditation. So mindful meditation can be very, very effective when it comes to anxiety. Learning, it kind of goes along with the breathing exercise, but also learn to meditate, take time out of your day, even every day, even if it's, for 5-15 minutes, to be able to just sit, relax, and meditate and focus on breathing exercises. Now, if you have a hard time meditating, a great thing that you can do is actually neurofeedback. It's something we do here at Nature's Health Clinic to help our patients. Neurofeedback is basically, it reads your brain waves to help you guide through meditation, other exercises, to be able to exercise the brain to help with things with people that have anxiety, stress, also with attention, depression. It helps with several different things. Something you should definitely look at is neurofeedback can be very, very powerful with helping with anxiety. Last thing I'm going to talk about is the adrenals. and looking at adrenal support. So a lot of patients that do come and see me tend to have maybe a combo of high stress and also fatigue. And it isn't, looking at the adrenals is something that shouldn't be ignored, because adrenals, what it does produce is several different hormones, our stress hormones such as norepinephrine and epinephrine, as well as our energy hormone called cortisol. And these could be in balance. As we, when we tend to be in the fight or flight mode, stressed all the time, we can burn ourselves out. And so as our adrenals can be super fatigued and can't keep up, or we might be at an adrenal situation where it's very high levels of cortisol. We tend to be very on edge. People with anxiety can be like that. And this is where you have to look at some cortisol manager. There's different herbal combinations such as ashwagandha, things like that can help with manage cortisol, but you also could be very depleted in cortisol, or you could be up and down. And this is where you need to look at the adrenals. Things that I do recommend, it depends on what state you're in, where your adrenals, what stage they might be in, is you have to look at, okay, and do I tend to be very high cortisol, or do I tend to be low? You have to look at all those aspects before implementing kind of treatment. But things such as adrenal desiccation that are in a lot of different types of herbs for adrenal support can be beneficial to help with energy and also regulating the stress. But again, you do need to check with a physician before you really start implementing a lot of these different types of herbs and different nutrients. Okay, so that is it. I hope you guys got some benefit from this. Every Tuesday and Thursday, I'm going to try to do these live streams at 12 o'clock just to kind of give back for the community. If you guys want any recommendations as far as what you want to implement, you go ahead and leave that in the comment section below, and I'll make sure to do it in one of these live streams. So this is Dr. LeGrand signing out, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks. Bye.